Is everybody in? Is everybody in? Well, this is Euphoric hijacking the Elephant Hour, a Moana podcast, and the show is about to begin. I'm Euphoric. I'll be your temporary hostess known on each coast. Today I'll be interviewing Mr. 777 himself, Megalon. Welcome to the show. So I'll start first by asking you, when did you first fall in love with hip hop?
I would have to say the first song I ever heard, which I think it was Planet Rock, actually. I think I was all in after Planet Rock.
Okay.
We won't talk about all that.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Where did you get the name Megalon from?
Oh, that's an easy question. Lon, in my time of battle, the time that I began battle, Lon stood for lyrics or bars or much line. So I just switched it up and Megalon, much line, much bars, much battle.
When did you meet the Soldats?
When did I meet the Soldats? Well, one of the Soldats is my little brother, and he's just been producing such hot stuff for so long. I was already in the game doing some things. And I liked his production a lot. And then his friend came along, Mudstone, now known as Black Gear. And as Mudstone would say, we just sat down one day and said, why not start doing this together and banging out classic music? You know, it's really hard to explain when. I can explain why and how. Why? Because we were the perfect fit. How? Because we all agreed upon the same thing, making classic music no matter how long each song took. I mean, all three of us are willing to do a song for 3 months, 3 days, or 3 hours. It doesn't really matter. So that's the best way I can answer that.
Explain your Ellis's from the differences between Megalon to City Boy, Country City Boy.
I wouldn't call them aliases. It's more like they're different pieces of me that develop their own life. So I was once called the 777 Symphony, meaning I have about 7 different characters within me that I could be at any given moment, depending on the crowd, depending on the mood. So Country City Boy represents my childhood, basically. My father's father owned a farm, and on this farm, we had to really, really work hard from dawn until my mom would pick me up. So Country City Boy formed like this. I would go to this particular farm, work my butt off all day with my grandfather, you know, just doing farm life, you know, country living. And he would always say, you always so city. You a country city type of boy. And that's where that derived. The dialect, the whole attitude. Country City Boy is just cool. He's laid back. He's like Snoop Dogg. Your grandma wants to kick it with him. Megalon is my battle area. From about when I was 8, maybe 10, I was thrown into battle by one of my brothers. Threatened, I should say. He basically said, win this battle, I'm going to whoop your ass. And that's how Megalon was born. Each one of the characters has a different life, a different name, a different style, a different sound, a different way of thinking. And that's the best I can answer that one.
I guess you could say that you had the opposite experience with Eminem Proof.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Okay, when did you start getting in the realm of battle rap?
Again, I was about 8, maybe 10 years old, and my brother, Huggy, was a well-known battler. He was actually Tupac to me before Tupac existed. Like, he was the only guy I knew who had $1 million deal, had deals on the table and all of these things to focus on, but guys would always want to battle him when he came back to town. So one day we were in maybe Bolivar Arms or Uzi Alley or one of these places, and it's just some 19-year-old guy trying to battle him. And he's counting up money going, I'm not going to battle you. You're a waste of time. You couldn't beat my little brother. I'm in the house actually writing poetry, watching Thundercats, kind of just doing my own little thing. And he steps in and says, you're going to battle this guy or I'm going to beat you up. You're going to win or I'm going to really beat you up. And that's how I was brought into the world of battling. But when it was a little different than 2 guys standing in front of each other for likes or YouTube or even a crowd. It was literally a cipher. It was two guys standing in the middle of a circle, and there was a money pot, and whoever won the money. So this particular time, I beat the guy. I basically pulled an Eminem because I'm 10, and I said all of the things about myself that I knew he would say. Therefore, he had no ammunition. So I think we won about $7,000-8,000 at that point. We walk in the house. My brother peels off three or four, maybe 5,000, hands me this money and said, "This is the easiest, quickest money you'll ever make. Never forget it." And that's how I was introduced to ballad.
Okay. So, what is your opinion on the battle scene today?
My opinion on the battle scene today, I think it's progressive. I think that it's progressed to a state where they're doing it how I was doing it then, except for when I was doing it that way, it was unheard of. It was unheard of to go so far, to troll a guy, to research a guy, to take it so far in terms of a guy's personal business. It's what helped me create the catchphrase, "You don't know a nigga who can beat me," because I just felt that way. I felt no one was doing battle then how they're doing battle now. I felt like LL Cool J against Kumo D. I just felt that way. I felt like I was in an era that wasn't ready for me to be in it. So I enjoyed watching battle rap transition to the stage that I was kind of already at, and not a lot of people were battling that were like me, because I had no qualm and no reservation about researching you, talking about you, talking about whatever needed to be talked about to win the battle. That's the best way I can.
Doing research projects on people.
Absolutely, absolutely, 100%. But that was unheard of then, because there was no Facebook, no YouTube, no cameras in everyone's phone. There was a circle, two guys in the middle of it. Sometimes there was a camera crew. Most of the time there wasn't. But the scene was much more, you had to have an in. If you didn't have an in or a tremendous amount of skills, then you did not get in. You didn't know where these battles were taking place. And we went state to state and done it for a long time.
Why did you stop battling?
I stopped battling because at the time that I was, it became dangerous. And not so much dangerous to me, because I was kind of riding high at the time and felt untouchable, honestly. I began to see how it was dangerous to my family. First of all, it was dangerous to the guys I was battling, because, again, at this time, when you lost a battle, your city did not welcome you back in the same way. You had guys trying to rob you, guys trying to kill you because you lost a battle. So I seen something happen to one of the guys that I battled. I have not battled many people twice. I've only battled my brother Squinty twice, and that was more like exercise than a battle. And I battled this other guy twice, who I won't really name. But what happened is, when he went back to the city he was from, here's a clue as to the city he was from, he couldn't walk to the corner bodega. Like, they would run this guy out. Like, "You lost to a Columbus, Ohio dude." I guess it was their lack of respect for Midwest battlers at the time. But I just saw that it was dangerous, not just for me, but for the people that I was battling. So it just made me say, I'm going to move into a different strategy or area.
Okay. Where do you see the state of hip hop today?
Again, I think it's progressive. I think it's transitioning. I think it's transitioning in the direction of some people's taste, and it's transitioning in the direction of areas some people don't really have a taste for. But I think that hip hop is much like evolution, meaning people don't understand that evolution moves in all directions, not just up, not just down, not just sideways, not just left, not just right. It moves in all directions. And to quote Black Gear, "Do you, just as he stated in the previous interview, respect the culture, respect the craft, know where it came from, first of all, and understand that hip hop is the number one music. It's the number one promotional vehicle, and it's number one, hands down."
So, this is a great interview, Megalon.
Thank you for having me.
Great Elephant will be in tomorrow night, taking over this evening. That is the Great Alpha Hour, a moment of podcast.